Gretchen claims the failed Fast and Furious gun-running program was so out of control in the fall of 2009 that the U.S. government was single-handedly arming a Mexican drug cartel for war. Arizona Republican Congressman Paul Gosar is on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, which is holding another hearing today. Congressman, the more we learn, the more questions we have. The latest revelation that William Maginess moved forward that came on FoxNews.com last night shows that the FBI was giving guns to these runners with huge criminal records. How could that happen?
Well, only in America. That's why it's so fraudulent, and it's why we're investigating this. That's exactly what we were doing, is we were putting guns in the hands of known criminals.
Why?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out, is that it doesn't make sense. And we didn't communicate with our folks in Mexico. So they were blindsided when they started seeing the alarming rate of these weapons showing up. And they thought that there was a war getting started.
Congressman, I know that you have probably a bunch of theories, but why would these drug cartels in Mexico need our guns? They could get crates of guns from anywhere. Why do they have to pay full price for our guns? Why is even a market for us to run guns across the border to them?
Well, why is it that our ATF gives a list of people they want to sell these guns to? It should be the other way around. It just seems very odd, and it feels contradictory to what we actually should be doing. We should be securing our border, not trying to make it worse.
But instead, these couple of guys that have these felony convictions were getting dozens of guns and running them across the border. After their subsequent arrest, we find out their background. So to me, if I was on the Oversight Committee, I'd say, I need to speak to the FBI, who of course would say the ATF told me to. And the ATF would say, okay, I need to speak to the acting director. And the acting director would be saying, well, just go to the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is in control of the ATF. Have you gone up the chain?
Well, that's what we're systematically doing, Brian, is making sure that we cover all the bases, making sure that we get all the information as we proceed up this chain. And there's definitely a change in the oversight from the DOJ and the ATF. They had a change in policy. In fact, when you go to people, to the gun sales and actually tell them, these are the people we want you to sell guns to, it really doesn't make much sense.
But the stated objective of this stupid program was to send guns across the border so we could track them and find out if the bad guys pick them up, so we could find out who the bad guys were?
Well, maybe that's it, and maybe that's not. Maybe it's something else. A lot of us have our theories that, what we wanted to do is make sure that we had different types of gun laws in this country. But it doesn't seem right that what we did is facilitated criminal activity with placing guns in Mexico, not telling the Mexican government. And they've already had a civil war where over 40,000 people have lost their lives, and we just made it worse.
And unless you get maximum leverage, I don't see the Department of Justice being cooperative with you, the ATF being cooperative with you, the FBI. There's got to be something that breaks this case. Are you confident there will be something?
Well, the acting head of the ATF has come forward and testified, and he's still in place. And so he's testified in front of the committees on oversight. So, those are things that we're going to be able to get in. And, justice will prevail here. This is, when things like this occur, we've got to make sure that we get the information forward.
Very curious to see what some of your theories are for you and others on the committee. Representative Paul Gosar, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.